Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are tackling a hot topic that's on everyone's mind. Will the upcoming condo Admiral of Katong sell cheap? If you are new here, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you'll never miss out on my latest updates. Without further ado, let's dive right in. A little bit of background first. Simlian Group emerged as the top bidder for this site, now known as Emerald of Katong or EOK in short. Their bid was just 800,000 or 0.1% higher than the 828 million submitted by a joint venture between CDL and Frasers. So this site is opposite Tembusu Grand, which was launched just last year in 2023. And surprisingly, this top bid of 1069 PSF PPR is 17.9% lower than Tembusu Grand's price of 1302 PSF PPR. Also, you'll notice that CDR bidded for both land parcels, 1302 PSF PPR for the land at Tembusu Grand in 2022 and 1068 for EOK in 2023. Of course, eventually they did not win the land bid at EOK, but essentially looking at the figures, did CDR overpay for Tembusu Grand, or could Simlian have just gotten themselves a damn good deal for EOK? And all these have led to speculation that units in EOK might be priced lower. So the million-dollar question here is, does lower land cost equate to lower selling prices? A lot of people have been attributing the lower land bid cost to the rising construction costs. But let's compare the construction cost last year versus this year in 2024. Let's take a look at this row here for Singapore's apartment high-rise average standard. The construction cost was at about 1915 to 2220 USD dollars per square meters in 2023, compared to 1905 to 2200 US dollars this year. Honestly, there's no significant difference in the construction cost here. And if you look at it from CDL lens, as they bidded for both the land parcels, the lower land bid price can be attributable to a couple of factors. The first is that this new land plot is under the new harmonization ruling, and if you'd like to understand how this works and how it affects you as a buyer, you can watch this video over here. In short, the aircon ledge, the high ceiling, the void spaces that were free spaces to sell previously by developers are now chargeable. And this will definitely eat into about 5 to 7% of the sellable area. So developer will lose a bit of revenue there, which will drive up the selling cost. Secondly, for this new site, if you delve into the details, developer also needs to do some CIP work, which is to build a neighborhood park next to it and conserve some trees within the park as well. So if you look at the technical details of the tender, the developer is to work closely with MParks and URA during the early design stage of the park. The proposed layout, design, and facilities within the park is to take into consideration the existing vegetation, as well as the heritage, natural environment, and the demographic profile of the Tanjong Katong estate. Honestly, I myself don't know what this means lah. It is also subject to detailed evaluation and approval by MParks, URA, and other relevant agencies. Because the park is located in a low-lying area, the levels of the park shall be topped up to slope upwards gently from the Tanjong Katong Road. They also need to integrate with the nursing home to the north as well as the residential development to the east. They still need to consult PUB before making submissions to the other relevant authorities. They also need to coordinate with the nursing home on the relevant works. So in short, you can see here a lot of coordination work on the developer's end just for this neighborhood park. They also need to widen the footpaths over here and as well as here, and also construct a cycling path in the northern side. So compared to the previous site at Tembusu Grand, nothing major needs to be done here outside the land parcel. So you can see over here that a lot of additional cost and coordination work goes into EOK compared to Tembusu Grand. But land costs and break-even prices are just a very small part of a developer's pricing strategy. Ultimately, it is the fundamentals such as the demand and supply that plays a bigger part. And with benchmark RCR prices now at about 2005 to 2006 PSF, we need to ask ourselves whether EOK will sell low or capitalize and make more profits for their shareholders by selling at the same price or slightly higher than Tembusu Grand. Let's take a look at the past launches to determine if this will happen. So we go back in time to 2018, we have the launch of 4 projects: Park Esta, Sterling Residences, Jadescape, and Park Colonial. They're all in the RCR area with very similar attributes: good size development, or near MRT stations with good amenities surrounding the project. Even though Jadescape had the lowest break-even price at 1076 PSF PPR, while Park Colonial had the highest break-even price at 1686 PSF PPR, they all sold at around 1006 to 1007 PSF at launch, because that was the accepted quantum in the RCR area back then in 2018. Take a look here, 55% profit margin for a Jadescape developer compared to less than 10% for Sterling and Park Colonial. So you can see that the developer's land bid and break-even prices has little to do with the eventual launch price. So if a developer managed to win the land at a lower price, this just means that they can earn a bigger margin by just selling at the accepted price in that area. And when we look at the transacted prices for these developments to date, we can see that they have performed relatively similar to one another as well. Owners have sold between 2001 to 2200 PSF, and all of them are getting about 20 to 30% profit margin. So what lessons can we draw from here? While it is good to know the developer's bid price and the eventual break-even price, it is more important to understand the accepted quantum in the area and what are the characteristics these 4 projects have in common that allow owners to make such fantastic returns. And do comment down below if you know what they are. I will probably do a video on this topic in the near future. So another example is Twinview and Whistler Glen. They are just side by side in the West Coast area. Twinview had a break-even price of 1065 PSF PPR versus Whistler Glen of 1314 PSF PPR. They both launched in the same year in 2018. Take a look at the launch pricing here. Twinview launched in May 2018 at an average price of 1399 PSF, while Whistler Glen, even though they bought the land at a much higher price, launched in November 2018 at a similar pricing as Twinview, and they launched at an average of 1380 PSF. Another example I can give you is the 2 most recent launches in Jurong. They are Lake Garden Residences and Sora. These 2 land parcels are just beside each other, and the developer for Sora bought the land at about 18% cheaper compared to that of Lake Garden Residences. However, does this actually translate to lower selling prices for Sora? Based on the launch day prices in August last year in 2023, Lake Garden Residences sold at an average of 2120 PSF. To date, it has sold almost 50%, with prices averaging 2,127 PSF. So for Sora, the launch happened just over last weekend, and even though the developer bought the land cheap, in fact, they didn't sell cheap. They sold at a quantum that people are ready to accept for the area, and they managed to sell at an average price of 2,160 PSF. So at the end of the day, I just want to reiterate that land cost does not always equate to the final selling price. The developer can buy high, sell low, or buy low, sell high. It very much depends on the market conditions, the supply and demand in the area. And again, developers have no incentive to do charity at all. So what's the verdict? To date, Tembusu Grand has already sold more than 65%, and some of the units are transacting at above 2,700 PSF. Sim Lian may have gotten the land cheaper, but there's no guarantee that they will sell EOK cheap. Based on the new harmonization rules, the additional CIP and coordination work with the relevant authorities developer got to do, and the case studies we have over the years where a development is launched one after another, it is safe to conclude that EOK will not be priced significantly cheaper than Tembusu Grand. Anyway, Emerald of Katong will be launching very soon, and if you are keen to find out more about this project, you can reach out to me at my WhatsApp number here, and I'll update you once more information comes out. Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends who are interested in real estate. What do you think will be the pricing of Emerald of Katong? Let us know down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more real estate insights, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.